Hello everyone, my name is Matt and welcome to Eclectic Reality. Today I'll be bringing you my picks for the top 20 albums of 2020 so far. It feels outrageously off calling any part of 2020 great, but when it comes to the music, it's been pretty fantastic. I haven't seen a year this good since 2014, which if the quality continues the way it is, this is gonna be a fantastic year for sure. Of course, a lot of the artistic influence has stemmed from unfortunate events, including the pandemic and the long awaited widespread exposure of the corrupt police force. But I'm just gonna digress right there. Heavy metal, pop, rock, country, hip hop, all of which have had artists that have shocked me one way or another with how great the music has been. But before we get into the list, remember this is my opinion. If there isn't a certain record you expected on here, it's probably because I didn't hear it or I didn't like it enough. Feel free to comment down below any records you would include in your list. I'm always interested in other people's opinions. And before we get into the list proper, I'd like to highlight a list of albums that I feel definitely deserve the attention. First we have King Cruel with his bass-heavy, art rock, very psychedelic record, Man Alive. We also have, from the dankest parts of Bandcamp, Jaufmor Afghalasi and his new record, The Ruins of Eden. Next on the list we have Quell Chris and Chris Keys and their collaboration, Innocent Country 2. And after that we have the supergroup Sightless Pit, made up of Lingua Ignota, Full of Hell, and The Body, and their new record, Grave of a Dog. We also have Clarence Clarity experimenting with ambient on his new record Dead Screen Scrolls, Ambient Volume 1. I'd also like to give a shout out to True Body and their record Heavenly Rhythms for the Uninitiated. A very cool record that mixes dark wave and punk. Definitely check it out. We also have rapper, poet, and philosophical writer Rap Ferreira with his self-portrait Purple Moonlight Pages. And I'll also shout out Deerhoof and Future Teenage Cave Artists. And with another jazz rap album, Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist and their collaboration Alfredo. And finally Odraza and their black metal avant-garde mixture Rescom. Alright, now that that's done, let's get into the list proper, starting with number 20, Fiona Apple and her new record Fetch the Bolt Cutters. This is a prime example of hype surrounding an artist, causing many to overrate it initially, myself included. But that doesn't mean it isn't a great record. The pseudo-experimental art pop influences this time around give a new fresh sound to Fiona Apple's music. Plus, alongside her usual personal influences in her lyrics are issues that women in society still face to this day. Overall, it's a very great return to form from Fiona Apple, and definitely check it out if you haven't already. At number 19, we have Ian William Craig and his new record, Red Sun Through Smoke. Ian William Craig is known for his tape music mixed with ambient, which causes a lot of scratchy aesthetics, which works very well with the theme of this ambient record of the randoms in life coming all at once and really just making your whole life feel bleak. It's a very surreal listen that has some beauty, but it also feels like it's melting with the crackling of the tape music. Definitely check out the album and Ian William Craig's Bandcamp page, where you can read the theme behind the album and the personal influences he took when creating it. In my number 18 spot is Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats' new 18-minute record, Unlocked. Unlocked might be short, but it is jam-packed with so much to love. Denzel Curry delivers unorthodox bars and ferocious energy that attacks society and government as a whole. And Kenny Beats delivers some classic boom bap beats and even an MF Doom-esque aesthetic from comic book-like sampling. It's a wicked great record. I definitely recommend you check it out. At number 17, we have Jeff Rosenstock with his new album, No Dream. Another Rosenstock record, another batch of anthemic punk jams. The sticky and energetic riffs and hooks challenge those on his 2016 record, Worry. It's rough around the edges, but that's intentional to give it that raw punk power. With its not-so-subtle jabs towards society and government, it's definitely a well-timed record. At number 16, we have Igor and their new album, Spirituality and Distortion. Gautier Serre is definitely a polarizing figure in music. for his otherworldly hodgepodge of extreme metal, breakbeats, and baroque music under the name Igor. Good thing I love unorthodox genre mashups, especially when they work this damn well. To me, spirituality and distortion is Igor perfecting their combinations with much tighter cohesion and much better production all around. At number 15, we have Gabe Lee and his new album, Honky Tonk Hell. Finally, a country record that kicks ass. It's a shame country radio refuses to pick him up, because Nashville really needs someone who's willing to raise hell. He's got a very recognizable voice that pulls off both that rebellious exterior and more heartfelt songs that reveal a vulnerable side like many of us have. Additionally, the instrumentals range from classic southern country to ripping country rock that goes heavy on the organs. Honky Tonk Hell just shows that you don't have to be flashy or groundbreaking to have a great record. At number 14, we have Yves Tumor's new album, Heaven to a Tortured Mind. From ambient to post-industrial, Yves Tumor is no stranger when it comes to experimenting with different genres. That's why it makes sense they moved to art rock and neo-psychedelica so fluently. The record hypnotizes you with Yves Tumor's voice and some of the most luscious instrumentals that fuse hypnagogic pop and other very unorthodox instrumentation. It's a weird listen for sure, but definitely one that's worth checking out. At number 13, we have Vengeful Spectre and their self-titled album. When it comes to black metal, China isn't well represented. That was until Vengeful Spectre came in with their heavy black metal mixed with death metal and Chinese folk of all things, and it sounds really amazing. It gives off this like cinematic vibe of like a war zone and like scorched earth. It's a very violent record, but really, really great. At number 12, we have Godthrum and their new record, Reflections. Comprised of members of My Dying Bride, Solstice, and Valkenride, they specialize in slow, depressing doom metal that really shakes you to the core. There's nothing really too special about it, it's just very well played, plus Hamish Glencross's vocals are so well done and add an epic sound to everything. Definitely check it out, it's worth it if you're a doom metal fan. In the number 11 spot, we have Fluisters and their new album, Blow 'Em. This record is as close as you can get to beautiful black metal before entering black gaze territory. Warm and brisk waves of guitars just complement each other so well, creating vivid landscapes. From tension-building climaxes to unorthodox instrumentation, including funeral trumpets, it's a very beautiful record. In my number 10 spot, we have Charlie XCX and her new record, How I'm Feeling Now. Diving deeper into the PC music scene, Charlie has found her niche within electropop and bubblegum bass. She seems very confident in this new style with the help of producers A.G. Cook and Dylan Brady of 100 Gex fame. They do very well together, creating hyper-pop sounds with lyrics that actually cover emotions that all of us felt in quarantine, including anxiousness and just feeling lonely and just wanting to go out and party and stuff. It's a fun record for just staying at home. At number 9, I have Serpent Column's new EP, Endless Detainment. I know this is the second EP to make the list, but if they're better than some of the albums on the list, how can I not include it? Black metal alone is just a crazy genre full of breakneck speed and relentless brutality. So when you add in mathcore, you get an insane playing that is discordant, hellish, very hard to decipher, but somehow cohesive all at the same time. It's one of the heaviest records of the year, and I definitely recommend checking it out. In my number 8 spot, I have Senazas from Nicholas Jar. He returns to ambient this time around, and includes some of the vocals we got to see on Sirens and Pomegranates in 2016 and 2015 respectively. And they work very well with how brooding and ghoulish this whole album is. It's very lonely in its tone and definitely depressing, but it also has like a glimmer of hope to it that definitely mirrors the feelings that we have during this whole pandemic. And this isn't the only ambient album this year that did that, so I definitely recommend checking this out. At number 7, I have West of Eden by HMLTD. Here we have another debut record, this time from English punk rockers HMLTD. This record is peculiar for its sound that feels like a Broadway play in the way it presents these issues in Western culture that could really end up being the downfall. It's quite amazing how glammy it is, but it doesn't feel cheesy or too overprocessed. And plus all of the different genre fusions they add in, including trip hop and country. It's a very interesting record and definitely worth giving a listen. In my number 6 spot, I have Rina Sawayama and her album Sawayama. Another debut from another new artist that somehow makes it look easy making music. She just effortlessly makes this pop music that fits into the PC music vein for its Britney Spears-esque sound that's pushed a little bit forward with rock chords and even metal chords that sound like something you'd hear in a Korn song. It's quite amazing what she does. Her voice is absolutely incredible, and the hooks on this are the catchiest this year, bar none. At number 5, we have Code Orange and their new album Underneath. The former kids of metalcore have finally developed a sound that sounds completely identifiable and separates them from any other band within the genre. Their inclusion of industrial and glitch adds so much grit and aggressiveness to their music, which is what they've needed for so long. I've loved their records in the past, but this one definitely takes the cake. It's like listening to music that just melts your face off with acid and fire. AKA, it's badass metal. Coming in at number 4, we have Spectral Lore and Mere Cognitum with their album Wanderer's Astrology of the Nine. For a split, this is really, really long, clocking in at 2 hours. But they make use of almost every second perfectly, with relentless, yet colorful, and very abstract cosmic black metal that represents each planet in the solar system, which in its own right is ambitious. But when you take the fact that they put in so much detail to the point that they paired the harsher sounds of Mare Cognitum with planets like Jupiter and Mars, and the more melodic playing of Spectral Lore for like Earth and Saturn, it shows that they put in a lot of effort for this to make this one big journey. Entering the top 3, we start with Perfume Genius and his new album, Set My Heart on Fire Immediately. Once again, Mike Hadreas proves that he is one of the best artists within art pop today. Continuing the trend with his other records, Set My Heart on Fire Immediately is just as beautiful as the last, if not more luscious in its production. The ambient elements added in this time around really complement the very subtle, soft singing of Hadreas and his stories of love and vulnerability told from the perspective of a homosexual man. It's just another beautiful album. Perfume Genius fans are gonna love it, and I definitely recommend checking it out. For my second favorite album of 2020 so far, we got Run the Jewels and their new album, Run the Jewels 4. This seems like an obvious pick, no matter what critic, reviewer, or music fan anywhere. These guys just refuse to fail at this point, 4 records in as a duo. LP and Killer Mike have developed their chemistry to amazing heights, where LP holds the smooth, very intricate rhymes, while Killer Mike's just in your face, wanting to punch you out. I love everything they talk about in these albums, from the political views to just completely braggadocious lines. They're all clever, and some of the lines in this, including a I Can't Breathe line, really hit way harder in today's climate. Definitely an important album of the year, at least. And finally, for my number 1 spot for the top albums of 2020 so far, there's no doubt it has to go to Spanish Love Songs and their new album, Brave Faces Everyone. As soon as I heard this, after first listen, I knew it would be my favorite album of the year, and I still think that unless something ungodly good comes out. But when it comes to this album, it just hits like a truck of emotions. Focusing on stories from the Midwest and small towns, it really tackles ideas of depression and misunderstanding to teens who live in these really small towns. From ideas of just hitting that bottom blow to substance abuse, to being made out to be like a loser, to people just not refusing to understand what the problems are to teens today, and they just question why you took your life once you're gone. It's a very sad album, it's really hard, and it's only made better by the vocals, which have this rich timbre that's just so emotional, so cathartic, and so fucking amazing. And that's the list. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and found some new music to check out. Who knows, you could have your new favorite album right in this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you'd like, and leave a comment down below any albums we might have missed or any ideas for the channel as a whole. Anyways, peace out, have a good one, and stay safe.